Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Britton. I'm the CEO and founder of Potentials Realized. You might have met me through my writing, author of many books, including Effective Group Coaching and From One to Many. And I'm really excited to be bringing to you this shorter Tuesday call. Today's call is a sweet spot for coaches. I wanted to take a look back as part of our 20th anniversary celebrations to look at what are some of those fundamental elements that have changed the trajectory for the thousands of coaches that we've had the chance to work with over the last 20 years. My work this year, as we step into spring 2024, is going to be continuing to focus on the one thing where I started my business, really helping coaches do their best work while building sustainable businesses. And I thought it would be really interesting to bring back this notion of the sweet spot, which I first wrote about in my first book, Effective Group Coaching. So let's take a look at this. And as you think about the sweet spot, I want you to think about what's going to help you do your best work right now with the clients that you serve. We've been continuing to do a lot of work in our pathways to both team coaching certification and group coaching certification. Many of you have joined us for the first two or three of the actual pathway. Maybe you've joined us for group coaching essentials or team coaching essentials and the practicum. And as you've grown, many of you have continued on your journey with us in activating your group and team coaching superpowers, which is something I'm going to talk about as part of the sweet spot, and course 5, which is coaching diverse teams through the work styles. If you've heard me in the last few years, you've heard me talk about my latest body of work, reconnecting workspaces, and how that helps people thrive in the virtual and hybrid world. That is what we're going to be zooming into today. What does it mean to actually get your sweet spot dialed in today's 2024 world? This is a bonus community call, but I want to invite you to our upcoming spring 2024 calls. Next week, I'll be doing a group coaching demo. We're going to look at experimentation and focus with Plan, Do, Track, and the 90-Day Guide for Success. And then we're going to focus on amplifying your coaching business or internal practice via multiple streams of coaching income. We'll come back to another group coaching demo in mid-April. And then once again, going back to amplify your coaching toolkit. A lot of these Amplify calls are in setup to our Mastermind, which is going to be launching on the 1st of May. And if you're really committed to moving your business forward while continuing your evolution as a group or team coach, I hope that you'll consider that program. In my most recent call, I talked a little bit about the mastery of a coach. And so our learning doesn't stop by getting your ACTC, maybe your advanced credential in team coaching. In fact, we want to continue growing, and the development of the coach is multi-layered. Our ICF CCE programming, as well as the Amplify Mastermind, focuses on these 5 layers: our toolkit and skills, our clients, building a sustainable business, which is my biggest focus in 2024, expanding yourself through coaching supervision, and also a range of opportunities, such as looking at your superpowers. And finally, having a variety of tools in your toolkit to coach the diversity that exists within the teams and groups we serve. That includes not only our Coaching Diverse Teams and Groups call and program, which is 14 CCEs, but it also is our quiz and some of the work that I'm going to be talking today around strengths coaching. So in 2009, a long time ago, 15 years ago, I put into print this notion of the sweet spot. This has actually been an exercise we've taken clients, coaches through since 2006. So if you've been part of our group coaching essentials or a practicum, you probably remember this exercise. And as I published in From One to Many, we know that there's a sweet spot, a place of leverage where these 3 areas come. Great group and team coaches are very clear at what they're great at. They understand what their passions are, what's going to keep them moving through the ups and downs of business. And finally, they're very attuned to what your clients want, need, and prefer. So maybe you did this exercise with us in Group Coaching Essentials. I'd invite you to pull out your notes. Hopefully you put a date on it. That's what I always encourage people that have gone through the program with me. And as we do that, what we've continued to do here at Potentials Realize is build out programming around these 3 areas. So, one of the things I've been passionate about for a long time is helping coaches, helping business owners discover what are your strengths. And I call this really amplifying you. Today, I want to start here because you've heard me talk about our programming, but what about individual coaching with you? And so, one of the things I've invested in this year, I've become certified as a strengths coach through Gallup. I really have seen the transformational power of that CliftonStrengths with not only teams, but also business owners. And so this spring, I'm introducing a spring strengths package that I'll talk about, but it really gets you focusing on amplifying you, looking at your strengths, looking at what uniquely is you, and what helps you say, yeah, I could do that until, as we would say here, the cows come home. So, really, what is going to help you continue to not only do great work, but flow and enjoy in your work? And that to me is really this piece around strengths coaching. Many of you are going to be joining me starting in May 1st, with the Amplify Mastermind program, which is a 6-month mastermind where it's a combination of one-on-one coaching, group mastermind, and also the ability to take 2 of our ICF CCE approved programs. And why I wanted to do this call was to really get people thinking about how you might actually be able to lock in this next 6 months, a deep focus on you, your strengths, also your knowledge base around what helps teams and groups thrive through the styles, and finally, thinking about developing and expanding your coaching range. And so today's call really zooms into what this sweet spot is in 2024. You might be watching this as part of the blended learning assignment, or maybe you're just coming across our programming right now. Please check it out, groupcoachingessentials.ca. I've been training group and team coaches since 2006. That's a long time. And we've seen people take this workout into the world in very many ways. Whether you're new or you're seasoned, this is an area of continued growth. We don't stop growing, as I started off at the start of the call. So let's take a look at growing your superpowers. This is number 3. And many of you know that a few years ago, I introduced the Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpowers quiz. In fact, 2 years ago, started this quiz. It's now been taken by thousands of coaches, and it really helps coaches identify and expand what their natural coaching style is. I've done a lot of calls on these, but basically there are 5 different styles that we have. And as we've seen from research across thousands of coaches, we have very different ways of coaching. They're all important. And in fact, as we grow our skills and capacity to hold the space for group and team coaches, we want to activate our coaching superpowers. So this is not a I'm only one size. Actually, as coaches, as group and team coaches in needing to hold a wider space, we want to cultivate skills, mindsets, and practices in each of these 5 areas. I don't want to dive deeply into this. In fact, there are other calls that you can do, and we do a 14 CCE program that's going to be coming around this spring, as well as this summer, July, August, and again in the fall. As I've taken many coaches through this program, they've really been excited to see, hey, I'm a Spiral Lighthouse coach. I love looking at perspectives. I want to build trust and safety. I want to really zoom in, and my natural strength is in building connection. That's different than our grounded labyrinth coaches, who might actually have found their way already to mindfulness work or somatic practices. Grounded labyrinth superpowers help us really lean into that space of creating a pause and creating a deep anchor for the work that we do with our clients. We also, in today's world, want to activate more of the ecosystem connector superpower. And the ecosystem connector coach, as a primary, really will see the world through connectivity, through lenses of systems and interconnections. That's different than the creative tool master. I'm a creative tool master, and I love acquiring different tools. I love looking at what the blend is. And there is a piece of both creativity, which means that I'll never do the same thing twice with teams or groups that I work with, as well as a toolkit, building out different processes. I've been trained in many, many different coaching methodologies, and I think that's really important as a group and team coach, because it's never a one size fits all. So if you're interested in learning more about the superpowers, definitely head on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca/activate. And that will get you into this whole ecosystem of looking at the 5 or 6 weeks of activating your group and team coaching superpowers. Remember, it's one of 3 areas. And I started with number 3 because I think it is important for us to consider our range and the approaches we have at our disposal. Next, we want to make sure that we are growing ourselves back to number 1. And this is where a couple of things come in. Number 1, why I'm reintroducing or reactivating our Amplify Mastermind May 1st. So as I said, it's going to be a 6-month deep dive into helping you amplify your strengths in 6 key areas. Business mastery and sustainable business building is about amplifying you and what you're naturally great at. And so part of the sweet spot that I started with way back in 2009, notice number 1 area to create the sweet spot is knowing and owning your strengths. And so as part of the Amplify Mastermind, as well as part of a separate spring package, I'm going to be doing work around strengths as a Gallup certified strengths coach with all of you who decide to join us. So there is a piece around amplifying you, understanding your strengths, understanding how those unique talents can be harnessed to make you flow, to help you with decisions, to help you partner. Because in growing a business, we're not just growing one by one. Business mastery today is also about amplifying your business. And so those who join me in the mastermind will also be joining us in our Friday Coaching Biz Growth Lab courses for the next 6 months. Every other Friday, we grow our businesses. We focus on our businesses by taking action around branding, messaging, promotion, partnerships. And so part of the mastermind for Amplify is amplifying your business. Many coaches grow not just through one revenue stream. In fact, we know, and I hear this a lot these days, you want to have multiple streams of coaching income. That term was made famous by Andrea Lee, 2007. Thank you, Andrea J. Lee. And it is really important that we have multiple things. So some of you know, and I was just showing and talking a little bit about the Conversation Sparker Charms, which are one of our latest products. Every year I try to introduce a new product, whether it's a book, or this year, we're here with the experiential charms. And so I'll be working with our mastermind, not students, but our mastermindees on building out a new product line, whether that's a card deck, whether it's something experiential, or maybe it's a new program on demand or asynchronous. Fourth part of the mastermind that we're going to be looking at is amplifying your message. And so what is your message? How dialed in is it? We're going to spend some time getting you more confident and grounded on what your clients want to hear. And that will take us into our 5th area of amplifying your results and finally amplifying your connections. I hope that you will join us either this May for our next intake or down the road for one of our mastermind programs, because this, I think, is going to help you move from great to amazing as a business. At the heart of it, of course, is activating your strengths. And maybe you don't need another group program right now, but you want to check in, what are your strengths? And so as a Gallup Strengths certified coach, I work, of course, with the Gallup framework, as well as I continue to do work with the VIA Strengths, character strengths framework. So whatever one you're using, definitely check out some of the past calls that we've done. And we're going to be linking this in to supporting diverse styles, the 3rd area. I'm really excited to be bringing back the hybrid work styles because we can know ourselves, we can know our clients, but are we knowing and having variety of tools for the clients that we work with? If you viewed my TED Talk, Coaching Teams Through Chaos, you saw these chairs. And you saw us really look at what are the different styles of clients that we work with. We have visionaries who are focusing on the vision. We have builders who are focusing on the goals. We have culture wizards and innovative experimenters, as well as those who are looking at shared team practice. So it's important that we also have different tools, different processes to work with these hybrid work styles. Starting in a few weeks on Friday, April 4th from 10:05 to 11:35, we're going to go through a 5-week hybrid work styles program. And it's also known as coaching diverse teams and groups. We're going to build out your toolkit. We're going to be looking at how might you need to adjust your questions to support the diversity that exists in the room. And so supporting diverse styles and teams and groups is critical for your journey. Remember, you might also decide to use this as your time to grow and use this as your time to amplify your business. Maybe it's just about amplifying you. So I want to let you know about one of our spring specials, and that is our spring coaching package. It's going to include some work around the CliftonStrengths. I'm going to take you not only through your top 5, but your top 34. You're also going to be invited to do some work on demand in how can your strengths link with your styles. That's going to be an on-demand hour. And then we're going to be doing a quarterly sprint for planning for Q2. I hope that you will find that useful as well, because we want to make sure that we are really looking at what are the skills that are going to take us forward. Planning is critical in today's world. So I'm just going to bring up right now, I'm going to bring up the little slide I have here on this spring forward, spring into action, as I like to call it. And it's a spring coaching package that you're going to find useful if you're interested in growing right now in your business. So activate your strengths this spring. If you don't want to join us for sort of the whole kahuna in the Mastermind program, I want to give you the opportunity to join us for some one-on-one work. And that will include strengths coaching conversation with me, looking at your top 10, but also looking at your top 34. So it will involve getting a new CliftonStrengths top 34. We're going to look at on demand. How can you apply those strengths as a business owner? I'm going to be giving you some Q2 worksheets. And then we're also going to be doing a quarterly planning sprint. Either you'll join me live for that or you're going to watch it on demand. So those 4 elements together, invaluable. They're going to set you up for success for the spring by helping you zoom into what you do well already. And that's going to cost $397 US. Or you can join me for either bundling the hybrid work styles or the coaching work styles. So you can book those at our new webpage. It is groupcoachingessentials.ca/spring-strengths-coaching. And with that, that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this mini installment. What are you going to do best, and what's going to help you do your best work? Please take a moment, block a time to connect with us at groupcoachingessentials.ca or book through Calendly, calendly.com/Jen Britton. And we'll see you next week for another group coaching demo. Be well. Take care.